Imagine a classroom filled with eager students, their eyes fixed on their teacher as he stands before them, holding a large empty jar. With a gentle smile, the teacher begins to fill the jar with big, smooth pebbles. Once the pebbles reach the top, he turns to his students and asks, "Is the jar full?" The students nod in agreement, confident in their answer, but the teacher isn't finished. He reaches for a bag of smaller stones and pours them into the jar. The stones tumble and roll, finding their way into the spaces between the pebbles. Again, he asks, "Now is it full?" The students, catching on, laugh and respond with a hesitant, "Yes." The teacher's eyes twinkle with amusement as he produces a container of sand. Slowly, he pours the sand into the jar, watching as the tiny grains filter through the cracks and crevices, filling every available space. The students lean forward, fascinated by this unexpected turn of events. Finally, the teacher picks up a pitcher of water and begins to pour. The clear liquid seeps into the jar, rising until it reaches the very brim, threatening to overflow. Setting the pitcher down, the teacher looks at his students and says, "This jar represents your life. The big pebbles are the most important things: your family, your health, your deepest passions. These are the foundations that give your life meaning and purpose." He continues, "The smaller stones represent other significant aspects of your life: your career, your education, your daily responsibilities. They're important, but they shouldn't come at the expense of your core priorities." Gesturing to the sand, he explains, "This represents the small stuff, the minor worries, the petty arguments, the endless distractions that can so easily consume our time and energy if we let them." "And the water?" a student asks. The teacher smiles. "The water represents the little joys and pleasures of life. Notice how they can still find their place, even when everything else is already in the jar." The classroom falls silent as the students ponder this powerful visual lesson. "Now," the teacher says, leaning forward, "imagine what would happen if we filled the jar in reverse order. If we started with the sand, where would we find room for the pebbles? If we let our lives be consumed by trivial matters, how can we make space for what truly matters?" A murmur of understanding ripples through the room. "Life is short, my dear students," the teacher continues. "We must be mindful of how we fill our jars. If we want to find peace, fulfillment, and true happiness, we need to prioritize the big pebbles: our relationships, our health, our personal growth." He picks up one of the large pebbles, turning it over in his hand. "These are the things that should always come first. They're the foundation upon which everything else is built." The students nod, their faces thoughtful as they consider their own lives and the choices they've been making. "But what about our careers?" one student asks. "Aren't they important too?" The teacher nods. "Absolutely. Your career, your education, these are the smaller stones. They're crucial parts of your life, but they shouldn't overshadow your core priorities. When you put the big pebbles in first, you'll find that there's still plenty of room for these other important elements." He picks up a handful of sand. "And this? This represents all the little things that can so easily fill up our days if we're not careful. Social media scrolling, pointless arguments, worrying about things beyond our control. These are the grains of sand that can slip in and take up all the space if we let them." The students shift uncomfortably, recognizing their own habits in the teacher's words. "But here's the beautiful thing," the teacher says, his voice softening. "When you prioritize the big pebbles and make room for the smaller stones, you'll find that there's still space for some sand, and even for the water of life's simple pleasures. It's all about putting things in the right order." He looks around the room, meeting each student's eyes. "So, I want you to think about your own jar of life. Are you filling it with sand first, leaving no room for the things that truly matter? Or are you making sure to put in those big pebbles, your family, your health, your passions, before anything else?" The classroom is silent as the students reflect on their own choices and priorities. "Remember," the teacher says gently, "life isn't about fitting everything in. It's about making room for what's truly important. When you focus on the big pebbles first, you'll find that everything else has a way of falling into place." He picks up the jar, holding it out for all to see. "This jar is a reminder to choose wisely, to prioritize thoughtfully, and to never lose sight of what truly matters in the grand scheme of things." The students nod, their eyes fixed on the jar, seeing it now not just as a simple object, but as a powerful metaphor for their own lives. So, the teacher concludes, I challenge each of you to take a moment today. Look at your own jar of life. Are you filling it with sand or with the pebbles that truly matter? Are you making space for the things that bring you joy, growth, and fulfillment? Or are you letting the small stuff crowd out what's truly important? He sets the jar down gently. The choice is yours. Every day you have the opportunity to decide what goes into your jar first. Choose wisely, my friends. Your happiness and fulfillment depend on it. As the students file out of the classroom, their minds are buzzing with new perspectives. They look at their backpacks, their phones, their to-do lists with fresh eyes, wondering, what are the big pebbles in my life? Am I giving them the space they deserve? And so, the lesson of the jar becomes more than just a classroom exercise. It becomes a guiding principle, a reminder to all of us to pause, reflect, and ask ourselves, what am I putting first in my jar of life? In a world that often seems to prioritize the small and the urgent over the truly important, this simple lesson serves as a powerful reminder. It encourages us to step back, to reassess, and to make sure we're not sacrificing our big pebbles for a jar full of sand. So, take a moment today. Look at your own jar of life. Are you filling it with the things that truly matter? Are you making space for love, for health, for personal growth? Or are you letting the sand of life's minor concerns fill up all the available space? Remember, life is short. Fill your jar wisely. Put in the big pebbles first and watch as everything else finds its rightful place. Your future self will thank you for it.